Hi, I'm Kenny. It's summer again. Congratulations, graduates! Are you applying for your PGWP right now? Hold it for a minute. Watch this video first, because I'm about to discover when is your best time to apply for your PGWP. Now let's start. Many graduates just apply for their PGWP as soon as they complete their studies. Surely this choice of timing is the most safe one. For example, if your first application is refused, your study permit is probably still valid, and you can just file for your second application right away. However, there is an obvious drawback. If by the expiry of your PGWP, your work experience is just, let's say, 1 or 2 months short to be enough for you to apply for your PR status in Canada, and you have to leave Canada, will you regret your choice? Because normally speaking, the earlier your work permit is issued, the earlier it will expire. So when is your best time to apply for your PGWP when you graduate? Before we answer this question, let's take a look at what options you have. First of all, as we all know that you have 180 days from your graduation to apply, but many people don't understand how to calculate these 180 days. Let's look at the explanation of the IRCC. Here it says, the PGWP application must be received within 180 days of the foreign national obtaining written confirmation from the DLI, indicating that they have met the requirements for completing their program of study. Calculation of the 180 days begins on the earliest of either the day the final marks for the program were issued or the day the applicant receives formal written notification that they have completed the program. And here is a note. The applicant should provide proof of the date they receive the official letter of completion or transcript. Officers may also confirm this date with the DLI. I believe this explanation is already crystal clear, but if you have any questions about this calculation, please do let me know. I'll try my best to help. Therefore, if you want your PGWP to expire as late as possible, you probably should apply as late as possible. For example, you can apply on the 170th day. But here comes another question. Is it all the same to apply at any time throughout the 180 days? Well, there is one thing in common, that is, you cannot work anymore before you file the application for your PGWP. And on the other hand, there is a watershed right in the middle, the expiration of your study permit, that is 90 days from your graduation. Although it's not always the case that your study permit is valid for 90 days from your graduation. If you want to confirm when your study permit becomes invalid, you can refer to that video to avoid common mistakes made by many people. For the purpose of this video, let's just say that your study permit is valid for another 90 days from your graduation. This makes a huge difference on your application for your PGWP. If you apply during the first 90 days, which is the first half of the 180 days, and your study permit is still valid, you can apply from inside of Canada, and you can work full-time after the application is made. As to the cons of this choice, compared with the application during the second half, your work permit is likely to be issued earlier and expire earlier. As to the choice during the second half, you can either apply from outside of Canada, or you can restore your status as a student when you make your PGWP application from inside of Canada. With this choice, your work permit is likely to be issued later and consequently will expire later. There are many cons of this choice during the second half. For example, you cannot work even after the application is made. You can work only after your application is approved. And if you got bad luck, your first application is refused, you cannot just file a second application. Therefore, you got fewer options of remedy. As to what remedy options you have, you can refer to the paid course I prepared for you. You also need to pay an extra restoration fee, and not to mention the risk of the restoration itself. Now let's come back to the original question. When is your best timing to apply for your PGWP? I summarized my recommendations by 3 different scenarios. In the first case, you have secured a job when you graduate, and you want to start it as soon as possible. In this scenario, your best choice is of course to apply as soon as possible. You can enjoy the safety of this choice, and the drawback is pointless for you. When you receive your work permit, you receive the peace of mind and step on your new journey towards your PR status in future. But if you don't have a job when you graduate, you can keep going with your job hunting until, for example, 80 days have elapsed. You can fail your application to buy you more time for the job hunting so that you don't waste the time of the validated under your work permit. But in this case, you need to prepare your application very carefully to ensure it would succeed with the first application. In the last scenario, you don't have a job and left Canada after you graduate. You can wait and file your application as late as possible. For example, on the 170th day. And again, you need to be extremely careful when you prepare your application, because once your application is refused, you may never get a PGWP. And I hope that wouldn't happen on you. When your application is approved, you can re-enter Canada and receive your work permit. This choice is quite convenient for this scenario. I wouldn't recommend you to restore your status in all cases. Restoring your status is not a regular approach and shouldn't be planned in advance. In fact, it serves as a last resort to save you from a tragedy. I believe these recommendations for different scenarios are perfectly balanced based on your condition and needs. However, if you are not confident in the application itself, it's always recommended to apply as soon as possible. I hope I have already explained about this factor clearly, and this video can help on your choice of timing to apply for your PGWP. If you have any question, please let me know. I'm Kenny. Learn my lessons on your way to Canada. See you in next video.